This is the 7th Fighter Command here in the road, and there's their buildings. I built up a radar station, and that I built up on top. And they thought I walked on water. We were building our building up there, and had it all, one end all finished up. And the colonel down here came up and he says, "It's raining, our records are all soggy, wet and everything. Can I move some of my men up here, and if we don't get in your way?" And I said, sure. Well, usually we never saw the commander, but the commander drove up to see how I was coming along that day. Walked in there, and all them Army flyboys was up there working, and they were packed almost shoulder to shoulder, and they're working. And he said, "What's these men doing here?" But he didn't give me a chance to tell him. He jumped on that colonel and says, "You're not supposed to be in here. This hasn't been turned over to you yet, and I want your butts out of here." And finally I made myself where Uncle Benny would listen to me. And I told him, I says, "I gave them permission to use this. They're not bothering us at all." And he says, "Well, if they give you any trouble, throw them out." And I remember looking at that colonel and grinning from ear to ear. And I said, "Colonel, do you see me throwing your ass out of here?" He says, "Oh, we'll go if you say so." I said, he ain't going to come back up here again until he takes credit for all the building we've done up here. And he never came back up here until he dedicated, opened the buildings up officially and gave it to him, you know. This is the headstone to the pets. As we laid out the cemetery, this Chief Warrant and I were surveying it out, and there's lines. And this boy come up with his dead dog. Well, not his dog himself, but he said headstone. He'd carved out of the soft rock there. And he asked us, he says, "Where can I put this?" Hell, I said, "This is the roadway." So I called the Chief Warrant over, and I said, "We got a problem here." He said, "There's no problem. You see that corner stake there that we just put in? Let's move it back 4 feet. And the other one 4 feet. And when he put that first stone in there, the Marines heard about it. And this is a memorial to the pets, their pets that was killed on the island. See, that wasn't in the plans. Yeah, this is when we were formed as a unit. This was taken in Hollywood, California. Somebody in our outfit bragged, and they didn't have up to the service things up there. The Hollywood Guild Canteen and the other naval thing. And this is one of my work crews up here. This was the chief I was under. I was second-class carpenter's mate by that time. But because I didn't drink or smoke, and because I could be depended on, they put me in charge up there, and I stayed up there. 6 months I stayed up there. And I'd have to report back to base every 2 weeks for 4 hours, and we drive back up for this. And the Naval Aid Shore Station, there was 2 of them there, and we did that, you know. We took care of it. They fed us, and we had a good time. The only reason I got it, they couldn't find anybody to stay sober. It's just to trust on it, you know. And here we are. This is Iwo on May 1945, from the beach, you know. For services there. And I'm in there. And this nurse you see here, she was the one that was in the Navy hospital when they brought me in after that mine went off. And when I come to, she leaned over and she says, "Brother Ethington, you're gonna live." I never forgot her. And I wrote on the back of it so you can see what the descriptions is. That's the only way I think I could do it, or I'd be in trouble otherwise, you know. Part of the 8th Battalion, and they built that section. The 8th Battalion and the 106, we were on there together, and then they disbanded this 106 and put us in the 8th, and we went into Japan with the 8th. Yeah, these were the tanks we built for water and for gas, whatever, you know. Water tanks built. Larry Fuchs was the guy that was in charge of that. See, there was no fresh water on the island. All we got was rainwater. Now, this is what a bomb. They called this the bubbly wobbly. When it would go through the air, it would, you know, you could hear that whine before it was hit. Apparently, it was a dud. What you're looking at here now was one of those stone concrete pillboxes, see. And when we needed the sand and the stuff, and we just uncovered everything and put it in the runways, and see, to make the runways. And that was part of what was in that, in front of that. Now, this is a piece of equipment on an early morning when the early mist arrives. Another wrecked piece of equipment, Iwo Jima, in 1945 in March. Wow. And this is, center building is a mess hall, specialty of the house, cream of spam. And this was another one. This was the motor Mac division for our unit, see. And I built so many buildings there, I can't remember them anymore. They all run together, 16 to 18 hours a day. Here's a shot of this thing here. See how what we've done to the beach behind it? We put roadways down through there, everything, you know. We got word that Joey Brown was going to come to entertain us. So we had the outdoor theater built by the coming of Joe E. Brown, motion picture star. And 2 weeks before, I think it was 2 weeks before he got there, his son was killed in action out there. But he still kept the show going. See, his oldest son had been killed in action just shortly before April 1945. Benches and chairs were built by carpenters make first class Gilbert Ethington and his crew. Center of Island, Iwo Jima, 445. So we built all of these here just for that. That's a rock crusher. Yeah, we went in there and they dynamited the rock and we brought it over and I built this rock crusher. It's nothing pretty to look at. That was my first major project right away for the airstrips. See, this was our band, and we went and played in the Mormon chapel there. We were invited to play in the Mormon chapel, but that was our orchestra for the 106. This is another shot of that, and this is, oh yeah, it's a Catholic church, but this is the Catholic church near there. That was the church I went to when we got word we was going on this last invasion of the war. I went with my Catholic friends to this church. They went to the Mormon services and Protestant services, and so did I. I hit them all. And some of my friends said, well, you sure didn't have a very strong faith. And I said, it wasn't the faith. I was scared to death. Here's this bubbly wobbly again. It's got the boys on top of it. Harold's Club, see, they named the Kent Harold's Club. And this is Hotel Iwo Jima. See, sign built by 106 NCB to break the boredom. So was this, basically. At the base of Mount Suribachi, the Air Force camp. This is part of the Air Force. We each took a few rolls of film and a camera in, you know, and we weren't supposed to, so we had to really. Yeah, this is small, I can't see anymore, but Bill Bugs and Johnny Louis something, Johnny Head and Lombardi. That's them in their pup tents. That was at the end of the runway. That's before we built our tent city. Yeah, they were. I can remember them. They were special. One was a heavy equipment operator, and the other one was a mechanic. And they were kept busy. Mount Suribachi, Iwo Jima, looking north, 3rd and 4th Marine Landing Area, February the 19th, 1945. Picture taken after island secured, March the 26th.